Hello, this is Titanosaurus Productions, and today I'm doing another canceled Kaiju Film Friday, where we look at giant monster films that were sadly never made. Now, there's a lot of information in today's episode, so if you want more information, just buy the book, The Big Book of Japanese Giant Monster Movies, The Lost Films, which can most commonly be found on Amazon, which is where I bought it, and that's where I'm getting all the information from. So, John LeMay gets all the credit for this. And yeah, I'm going to begin telling you about what this whole thing is about. So, let me just find the page because there's actually like a bunch of stuff in here. You don't even know how many of these canceled Godzilla, not just Godzilla films, giant monster films there are. This one was supposed to be a co-production between Toho and Hammer. And I believe Hammer made the 1970s King Kong. And you know what Toho created. They create all the Godzilla films and stuff like that. But this one's called Nessie. And there was actually a lot of stuff here that was involved with this. They already had they had the posters, which is what you're looking at right now. One of them, the color version. And also, they put a lot of money into this film. I don't remember why it was canceled, but I'll look in here to see why it was canceled once I finish reading the information. Here we go. Nessie, 1976 to 1979. Intended release date, it's December 1978, and summer 1980. Screenplay by Michael Carey. I can't pronounce all of these names. Carras and Ewan Lloyd. Storyline: John Starr. Could he be a relative of Ringo Starr? Treatment: Christopher Wicking, first draft. Brian Forbes, third draft. Producers: Michael Carrias, Ewan Lloyd, David Frost, Tom Sachs, or is it Tom Satches? I don't know. And Tomoyuki Tanaka. See, there's our Toho guy there. Proposed directors: Mike Hodges, Brian Forbes, Lindsay Anderson, Andrew V. McLagan, Michael Ritchie. Proposed special effects director: Teruyoshi Nakano. Proposed cast: Roger Moore, Candice Bergen, Charlton Heston. Could that be related to Jonah Heston from Mystery Science Theater 3000? Who knows? Julie Christie, Richard Harris, Catherine Ross, Michael Caine, Shirley Lansing, Gregory Peck, Jean-Paul Belmondo, Ryan O'Neal, Richard Burton, Burt Lancaster, Michael York, Cliff Robertson, Richard Chamberlain, Michael Douglas, Ian Ogilvy, Ando, Rosalind Lloyd, and Michael Billington. Oh, that's a lot of cast. Proposed monsters: Nessie. Well, we know what this movie was about. It was obviously more character-driven. As you can see, it has the most amount of cast we've seen so far. And now for the story, which is even shorter than the amount of cast members there are. And here we go. A truck carrying the dangerous chemical Mutane 4 crashes into Loch Ness, awakening its famous monster. Not only that, when the monster ingests the compound, it mutates and grows even larger. Nessie escapes the confines of the loch and swims through the North Sea, where it attacks a hovercraft and an oil wig. Wig. I said wig. Oil wig. I'm sorry. An oil rig. An oil rig on its way to the South Pacific to Plesiosaurus breeding grounds. In the Sunda Strait, of the South China Seas, it meets its end via a thermonuclear detonation. Now, the book is a lot more plot details and descriptions of what happens, so that was just a short summary. But, yeah, now let's see why this movie was canceled. Here is one of the reasons I found on why the film was canceled. The first signs of trouble for the film came about after the negative reaction to Dino De Laurentiis' King Kong remake, which hit theaters in December of 1976. See, there you go, the King Kong movie made by Hammer. Then, shooting was set to commence on May 1st, 1977, but was brought to a halt when David Begelman, the head of Columbia, was suspended under the charge of financial malpractice. Carreras and his group would have to seek their financing elsewhere. In an act of desperation, Hammer producer Tom Sachs tweaked the script, now renamed Nessie the Loch Ness Monster, to include possibilities for marketing tie-ins. The script tweaking didn't stop there, and further contributing to the draft versions were Scott Finch, Mort Fine, and Gerald D. Pego during late 1977 into early 1978. By March of 1978, the project was dead, when David Frost could see no light at the end of the tunnel for the film. Then, budgeted at $10 million and liquidated Paradine Productions Ltd., Carreras and Lloyd were removed from the Hammer board in late April of 1979. Yet the duo still tried to find investors for their film, now simply called Nessie. Part of this headstrong effort was for the sake of Toho, which had actually put forth legitimate effort into shooting via construction of the Nessie prop and various storyboards. Things seemed to be looking up for the production as Carreras made efforts to book the Pinewood 007 stage and had even secured Catherine Ross as a lead with a co-producing sponsor in the form of Robert Stigwood. It was all too little too late, though. Stigwood eventually lost interest in this time. Nessie had finally sunk for certain. Anyway, that's all for this canceled Kaiju film Friday. I hope you enjoyed, and next week you'll discover that it's not the end for the Bride of Godzilla.